in the audience might say, whoa, but there's 788 here. What can you get for that money in addition to the $1 million? Oh, well, we have 5 alternates.
Yeah.
We can get this, and this. But we don't have the money in the stabilization fund. Well, then I moved, Mr. TA, where is the money? Do we have any extra money in town? Yeah, we do. We have it in the, which one?
Not the cable, not the capital.
It is a
building.
capital.
It is
The
a
capital, that's kind of a,
Well, I know, but that's, it is available. You have to say we have 1.2 million in capital and 500,000 in the other one.
right, but the capital, then Steve now would have to get up and explain how the capital
How it works.
has some commitments to it already.
Right.
Right.
So, but I'm just saying, somebody could say, well, then 788, how about, would an extra $300,000 help you guys? Yes, it would. That would give us boilers. So,
I say we take the 1,008,000 and run like hell.
I'm like hell, because once you start
Yeah.
talking,
can't
well,
lose.
what do you mean? You're not getting new boilers or something?
Mm-hmm. Well, the new boiler's actually for the second half, the other side of the building,
Correct.
so.
right.
You know, it's both. I confirmed that with Robert Hall. Both sides.
So we're not getting new boilers.
Correct. You are getting new air handling systems that are the air source heat pumps, which are going to be doing the majority of your heating and cooling, but you're not getting new boilers as part of this project.
Okay.
That's that alternate.
Okay,
Okay.
so, so sum it up, if the first motion passes, the select board will not proceed with the second motion. If both motions fail, the West Street building renovation will not continue. That is the document that the communications committee thinks that they can put out to help the town understand what is happening and to clarify and get people to town meeting to feel comfortable in knowing what's happening at town meeting. So, because we are the committee, the sponsoring committee, the committee has to agree to allow this document to go out, number one. I guess that's it, number one. Do you see a need for this? Or do you want to rely only on the papers that we produce for town meeting, which we will be discussing in about 2 more minutes so we can get that done before we
I don't
close.
know, I don't see where this is adding any additional information, nor would we want to, because all it does is create more confusion. You're better off explaining it on the floor. This doesn't do any harm to send it out, because it's no different than the article, for the most part. Articles.
Well, it's different in the article that says where it's coming from, the stabilization fund. It's the actual motion, right? The article says it's coming, it could come from any of these sources about this amount of money. You know, the article's a warning. We're gonna talk about $1 million, more or less, to come out of any one of these funds. And if you're interested in the West Street building renovation, come to the meeting and discuss it in an open forum. I mean, that's what town meeting is, right? So, I think that they're just trying to clarify the yes and no, especially because we have 2 articles. And the committee, nor the select board, are asking for both articles. They just want one article to pass. So they're thinking if this doesn't go out, people are going to see 2 articles and be confused. Maybe you're saying that's okay, then come to town meeting and find out in an open session where people can answer the questions that you have,
Cool.
and that you're not coming in with incorrect information.
Well, I guess if we're gonna give out information, I would like to see something in there that says this will not affect your current
Right.
taxes.
So we talked about that last night, and I don't remember why they took that out. I think it's because of the funding. I don't know why that was taken out, to be honest with you. Don't remember. Do you want to?
Well, unless somebody modifies the motion, it's coming out of stabilization, and it's not going to affect people's taxes. The only way it would affect people's taxes is if somebody decided to modify the motion and go for a tax override or a debt exclusion.
So you can say a yes vote on this motion means there is funding for West Street building renovation to proceed with all administrative town offices located in the West Street building. a yes vote will not affect your taxes?
Yeah.
I think something like that,
Yeah.
if we're gonna put it out.
I think that would be good for it to be out there in plain
Yeah.
language. Because that did seem to be the primary concern.
A no vote means town meeting may proceed to address the second motion. So, and then for motion number 2, the same thing. A yes on the second motion means there's funding for West Street building renovation to proceed without the completion of the town administrator offices. A yes vote will not affect your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So you know what? Then I'm not even gonna bother going. I don't need to go. It's gonna pass, it's not gonna affect my taxes, so I'm not gonna go to vote for it, so I'm all set.
When you say
So
that
the-
affects,
So,
you're giving people information that you think they won't come now because it's gonna pass. People are gonna vote for it if it's not gonna affect their taxes. Why should I go?
and then you're gonna end up with those that,
People who go so they don't want it, period.
that's my take.
What, Micheline? I don't really want to spend too much more time on this. I want to take I'll do a motion and a vote for our committee to decide if we want this out or not. It's not saying that we can't put this out, something like this, in our, whatever we're putting out at town meeting. Because then you're on the floor.
I think we should use the communications committee for something, to be honest with you, because that's why they're there, and I don't wanna make it look like we're trying to hide anything.
So why don't we use them just to say the date, time, and place of the meeting? That's giving them information.
Or are we gonna provide them something that they can put out?
Well, we can do that. We can have them put out what we decide. You know, I had Tim draft up a picture of, this is what Article 1 is, this is what Article 2 is. We can have them, and it would, by putting out, we mean it'd be on Facebook.
right,
Right.
And so,
There's nothing else on this town meeting, correct?
No, this is it.
This is it.
so, you know,
So there's nothing else to drive people there other than this.
right. So then, you wouldn't want to put a yes vote will not affect your taxes. You want everybody to be there. So,
but the thing is I wouldn't say affect your tax, I'm getting, the part I don't like about that is I'm just trying to think how other people would think about it, and all of a sudden their taxes go up. You said my taxes are gonna go up, and we need to say for this project. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we
Well,
can.
that's all we're talking about is this project.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you how other people think. When they see this one phrase, and they're gonna say, well, you said my taxes weren't going up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm thinking of a person who's not very,
okay,
and if they turn around and they catch words here, there, and they say, oh, no taxes, okay. That's what they understand, and then they go ahead and look at their tax book, because taxes go up, that's just you understand what I'm saying? That's why I think the confusion will go in when they say your taxes are not going up.
Not due to this.
Right.
Right. That's all we're saying.
That's all this is saying.
I mean, maybe you put in the beginning, 2 motions are on the agenda for the special town meeting. Neither motion will affect your taxes. But then you're saying, then people not come, because they don't want to vote it down necessarily. I mean,
See, I think that's an essential part of getting this funding, is telling individuals, yes, we're not talking increasing taxes of this town. We're talking about utilizing the funding that we have already to finish this complete building. What we were set out to do and what the town has given us that task. But I mean, this is vague. This is vague. This is really, it doesn't really explain the reason why the $1,008,000. And it doesn't explain that the 788.
because that's our job as the committee to explain that, whether it's Neil standing up and
That's on the floor.
it's on the floor.
It's on
Those
the
are-
floor, but still, this doesn't really, when somebody looks at this,
You don't think it adds value?
no, it doesn't.
The motion the way it's written and what's gonna be printed, I believe, in the, what's handed out from the town officially is, motion one, this article seeks additional funding to enable execution of a contract with the lowest bidding general contractor for the renovation of the West Street building into municipal offices. That's really what this money's giving us. It's giving us the ability to sign a contract.
Mm-hmm.
That's not glamorous enough for this. So, I understand all of what you're saying. I don't, it's not my decision, it's our decision. So if you want the communications committee to help, maybe it's not to put this out at all, but it's to put out whatever we decide after we stop talking about this as a committee that we're gonna draw up.
So,
I think we should draw it up.
what's that?
I think we should draw it up. We should
Yes.
draw up something.
Because they don't know what we've been working on all this time. They have not a clue. And that's where people come and just blow shit all over the place. Which is true, I don't care.
Assumptions.
That's what I'm saying. They're assuming, and people make things up. And then they put it on the internet. And it's all false, groundless. So then putting something out like this, like I said, it's vague. It doesn't give you anything. It doesn't really explain the circumstances.
So why would
that
you
we're
want to,
faced
why
with.
would you try to, why would you want to try and explain it here? It'll do exactly what you're saying. Explain it on the floor. I think we need to put something out. The only, and I agree with the chief about doing that and using this committee that's been formed. My only concern about any of this is that we don't want to drive people away from the polls. And that tends to happen when you say, oh, well, it's not going to affect my taxes, so I'm not showing up.
Well, we don't have to put that in, but if we don't put it in, then people are confused, you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put it in, then people won't come because it's
They're
not affecting their taxes.
They're going to be confused. The more detail you put in, the more confusing it can get. It gets explained on the floor.
Well, that's all part of town meeting, absolutely. The reason why town meeting was developed, I'll put on my moderator hat, is so people could conduct the business of the town in an open forum and learn at that meeting from their select board or whatever, whoever's running the town, what they're asking for, and they could debate. And get their questions answered and to gather information and make a decision in a public forum. That's what town meeting, an open town meeting is all about. People gather now around social media and discuss upcoming events.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have authority to speak on social media. There's no official page, and none of us can speak for the committee on social media. So I think the communications committee was just trying to clarify a few things for our committee. But we can continue on with developing what we think we need for town meeting and ask them to put that up before town meeting, if we even get them done in the next week, right? I mean, we have to figure out we have to decide what we're gonna distribute.
Right.
So, then I will make a motion, or I will entertain a motion to,
Well, my thought is, are we gonna table this until we come up with our, we're not,
I'll
are we
make a
voting
motion
down
that
this?
we do not use the accepted,
draft.
information from the communications committee, and that we come up with our own communication.
And are we gonna use the communications committee to
We'll use the
Yes.
communications committee to.
distribute it
distribute it.
if we get it created in time?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's also gonna be distributed at town meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Well, I think that's important only because everyone wants the communication, and that's the whole point. We formed a communication committee, but we just gotta make sure they're correct. I feel like we did this last time and it just screwed everybody up.
Well, we didn't,
But you know what I'm saying, this
Yes.
information went out and it just,
Information went out that was not correct.
That's what's-
From several different sources, and it created a problem at town meeting.
Right.
Because we couldn't clarify, even though we were trying to clarify, not we, but even though,
Yeah.
the committee as well as the select board were trying to clarify,
That-
it became
yeah,
a big problem.
that's why I'm very hesitant
So,
on somebody else doing it.
Okay. That being said, moving on to, what what Sean developed for us for, so so I definitely think that we should be handing out what Article 1 means in a picture, and
Yeah.
what Article 2 means in a picture.
Yeah.
Perhaps we hand out more, like a Q&A, I don't know, that's what this meeting is for. My thing, looking at the drawings, Tim, that you sent,
Yep.
where it says town office renovation excluding town administrator, I think I would add to that, this is Article 2. Or just, maybe Article 2, town office renovation.
And then the other can do the same Article 1.
Right, so people know which picture goes to which article.
I know it seems silly, but could that be a different color? Because that's the same color as this one and the same color. To make, so they could,
What are you looking at?
the TA's office, right?
Oh, so an article, the full,
The full-blown town office renovation one, and it says town administrator. See, that's the same color as the accountant. So if I'm looking for back and forth, I would want it to pop.
Change the color.
Do you know what I'm saying? I just want it to be a popping color, so you look at it as a person who's visual. You
Yep.
go, oh, there's the difference.
Yep, that's valid.
yep. I also, looking at this, think that we should put, where it says building area not in scope,
Yep.
I think we should say future renovation. Because that's the point of, I mean, all the black stuff is gonna be a future renovation, we hope. So maybe future renovation, building area not in current scope. What do you think?
Yeah.
No, I like that.
I do too.
So did you get that, Tim?
Yep, I'm just typing.
Can these documents be dated?
Yes.
Plans as of, because, I mean, maybe, you know, we're gonna switch the town collector somewhere else.
Yep.
So I don't know if you put drawings or plans as of.
Yeah, or we can just put like a copyright and a date in the corner. Just leave it simple.
Well, that's simple in people that understand copyright law.
True. So, to your point, plans as of.
Yep. Okay. Is everybody happy with these drawings?
Yes.
Just changing the color, and then of course, in whoever's presenting, we would say how the TA offices will be prepped for future renovation. Oh, it's already there. TA area to be abated and only new windows provided.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I had Sean add that because I felt it was important we have some kind of thing.
Yeah.
Can you actually move that out? Like, put a arrow and a line way out to the right that says,
Make it large enough, you mean? So it
Yeah,
can be
Make it
so-
shotted?
larger and
yeah,
put
and,
it maybe below where the title of the drawing is.
yeah, like above EDM Studios, but like in the middle of the page, just town administration area will be abated only, or will be abated,
Will it be abated and windows replaced only?
Yep,
Okay.
and prepped for future renovation, or for prep for future renovation.
Yep.
Always one of the biggest arguments, people never think we think of the future. So we have to make sure we said, yes, we've been this whole time.
All right, does anybody have any? Oh,
Yeah, and that's more, we need to make sure that's a talking point, to your point, if that is a concern, that your sprinkler system is prepped for the whole building. We're not sprinkling the entire to start, but everything is built around that capacity, so that's just something we have to keep in our back pocket.
Yeah.
all right, what else do you guys think we need to produce for town meeting? And,
Lynn, I gotta jump in another meeting. I'm gonna leave you on mute and jump back when I can, okay?
yep. I mean, when this is presented, who do you think we should be having discuss this project?
Either Neil or,
Neil or Tim?
Yep.
I agree with that. I mean, Mark's gonna say his deal, or the
Right.
select board's gonna say their deal, but then I think that we should be having somebody professional at this point step up and
Yep.
say, I don't know, these numbers are hard numbers, these
Yeah.
are the bids that we got.
And they're actual numbers of what someone has bid to build today. They aren't an estimate, they aren't a guess, they are real numbers.
And that the $1 million will bring us enough money to have a contingency in place, as well as
The administrator's office.
an administrative office, but there's also some other,
Little things that we,
there's also some other costs in there that isn't just contingency.
Okay.
That would be like, the overbids. The bids that were, or the one bid that we got that is over what we anticipated it to be.
Mhm.
All right, so it's agreed that either Neil or Tim would speak, and my guess would be Neil as a project manager.
Yes.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah, and I can always chime in where needed when it's getting into more of the building related systems.
okay. Do you guys want to put together, so last time we had a meeting, we had this, where is it? Remember we had this pamphlet
Q&A?
that we handed out, this is not even the right folder. This one?
The one we handed out at town meeting? Oh,
Which
yeah.
is, so, how much do you want to get into history? Do you want to get into history at all?
No, because we did all this before
Right.
and no one really cared.
Yep.
I think we should go right to the nuts and bolts and go boom, boom, boom.
Yep. I agree with that.
So
There's
we,
no sense in beating the dead horse.
right, but there may be a need, and I can be talked in or out of this, or, because someone's gonna wanna understand why are we not in budget? We had 5.6 million given to us, because that's what we estimated it to be. A year later, architect and OPM came in, the budget came in higher.
Yep.
So the town stuck with the 5.6 million. Since then, we've put in an oil tank, we've done septic, we've done everything we've had to do.
The well.
And which now leaves us with 5.2 million maybe, I'd have to find out what the
Right.
actual pot is that we have. And so we're short.
Can't we just explain that though in there, rather than doing all the printing again?
All the printing.
Like
You know,
instead
you
of
still have
having all
this-
this information written down, can't we just explain it to them?
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying to, yeah, well, I don't know, do you want, I think that could be a discussion by somebody, I don't think it needs to be written down. What do you want written down other than the pictures? Or is that all you want?
I think,
keep
keep
it
it
to that,
simple.
and we can always address it on the floor.
Because I felt like we gave tons of information last time,
Yeah.
and I feel like it didn't go anywhere. It actually
Yeah, I don't know
hindered.
that it helped us. and
Exactly,
I feel
I
like
think
a lot of the people asked things that were in the documents, so
exactly.
they obviously didn't read it.
Well, so that's the problem with producing too much paper for sure. Too much paper, people aren't going to,
Read it.
right.
give them too much, they shut down.
All right, so then,
I think what we created for the last one, if anything, is a good document for us as a committee to have, so that we can, if questions come up, we can refer to it. But that would be, I think, what its usefulness is.
I mean, we already have that Q&A document that was produced already, that internal Q&A that we had answering questions that we published for people when they had all those questions in the library.
Mm. The other thing is, people know about this, and we've been talking about this, and people already have had their opinions set or whatnot. So part of me just says, keep it simple. This is what you're gonna get, either
Yeah.
this or this. And the people who don't know want to come to town meeting and maybe ask or inquire questions. But I want to say, majority of the people actually have a good base of what's actually occurring.
All right then. So then,
So the chief wasn't here, let's just recap.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
so,
Neil, we're gonna ask Neil to present.
Okay.
Tim can chime in if it gets into any of the technical or architectural or any of the bid information.
well, you can all
always-
chime in, but,
You can always chime in at that point, and then if it gets to, and this is after Mark gives his spiel,
yep.
and then the town administrator can always talk process and so on and so forth.
And then what they're gonna have in front of them is a picture of Article 1, which says future renovation. This part is the
Yep.
future renovation, and Article number 2, which is the picture of the building without the TAs on it.
Yeah, I
So
think those
those are-
pictures are pretty self-explanatory, but
I mean, the bigger you can make those pictures on that piece of paper, the better. We will wanna print them in color.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't want any document that explains the history of how we got here. We're gonna rely on Neil and questions.
Yep.
Yeah, like, I think the reality is, like we had talked last time we met, I think the main questions we're likely to get are more related to the other alternative options in terms of what we can do. And that's potentially the pieces we need to be prepared to speak to in terms of the stuff that we've looked at before, for what the continuing costs of the existing spaces are gonna be, the situation with the lease, the rough costs of demoing the existing building, those sort of elements.
Well, the problem is, those are kind of outside the scope of the articles.
Yeah, and that's where it's that, but my point is, those are the questions, I have a feeling if we're gonna get them, those are the questions we're gonna get.
no.
Which, the question would be, do we address them, or do we just tell them it's not part of our scope? Which I know we've done before.
So I think those should be addressed more by Mark and his, or whatever select board person is speaking. You know, we're asking for this money because this project is, you know, ready to be signed. We need this money to move forward. If we don't get this money or some portion of this money, the project will end. And we don't have a, well, we know we don't have a plan, a future plan for town offices.
We don't.
Yep.
That is, right, we don't,
Yeah.
they don't,
Yeah.
no one does. And to ask how much it's gonna cost to rent rentals or to abolish and abate, I mean, we got those bids, how many, 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
Those bids aren't,
At this point, yeah,
right,
they're
we
already.
don't have those bids,
They're null and void anyways.
right.
Right.
So it'll cost the rest of our budget probably to
Address those.
address, yeah.
Yep. Well, and I think that's all well and good, and I think as long as we approach Mark or whomever is presenting it and make sure we have them present it that way, that'll forestall a lot of the discussion. To frame it that way, as you did just now, Lynn.
Okay. I just, since we still have about 15 minutes before we're gonna end the meeting, Mark walked in and I wanted him to hear our reasons as to why we do not agree with handing out what was produced by the Communications Committee.
Okay.
I mean, number one, people feel at the table that it creates confusion. As clearly as it's written, people will still not understand clearly what's being asked, especially about coming out of your taxes. So then when you add something on here that says a yes vote will not affect your taxes, then, you know,
I would just leave that out.
well, the committee feels that's really important for people to know that we're not asking for money that's gonna affect your taxes. It's
No,
money that we have in a bank account. But when you say something like that, then Jim's afraid that people will be like, okay, that's not affecting our taxes, I won't go to town meeting. Because it's gonna pass, and then we won't have the people there who need to vote it in. There's just so much interpretation when you put something out that they don't feel that this is helpful in any way.
Oh, I flip-flopped on this 3 times.
I don't, keeping it vanilla, what the votes, I don't think that hurts anything. I don't think it, I just don't like the idea of putting too much information in there, because then it gets confusing. And then I want to make sure that the right, you know, that we're not deterring people from showing up. And that's easy to do, especially this time of year.
I would just leave the tax thing out. And,
I mean, I guess
Well-
then we went on a discussion about how town meeting is meant, you are warned that we're gonna talk about something, and so you come to the town square and you talk about what was put out there, and you ask your questions in an open forum, and you get them answered, so everybody there hears, and hears the same thing and is answered by 1 or 2 people who have the knowledge to answer those questions.
Clearly.
so what, I don't understand what you were saying.
That this is going to, documents that go out before town meeting can start discussion.
I mean, honestly, you should have discussion ahead of time. You don't want to mislead people, but you should have discussion before town meeting. Like, if people were just waiting to town meeting to decide things, I don't think that's a very good way to make decisions. But, that's what I think. I've flipped up on this like 3 times.
Well, we voted to redo this document and get it out in time.
Well, our vote is to bring something to the communications committee, whatever we decide to publish. At this point, all we've decided to publish is the 2 pictures and the articles. So here's the articles, time, place, articles, here's the pictures that go with each article. Or you can do time, place, and motions, because we will find out tonight where the money's coming from. And then this is Article 1, this is Article 2. But what you didn't want was a yes vote means this and a no vote means that. Because a no vote does not mean that town meeting will vote on the second motion. You may not move the second motion, depending on town meetings.
Response from what everybody's trying to do there.
I don't know, it's like a cascade.
It is. There's a lot of intricacies with town
No,
meeting.
I mean like the articles. I mean, it's, you don't vote for the next one, then you go to the next one. If you don't vote for either one of those, then the project stops.
I mean, you could simply write something as easy as, here's the motions, and come to town meeting to gather the information regarding these motions and to make your decision when you have the information in front of you. So that was the vote. The vote was to give them what we decided to publish and ask them to publish it.
Right.
If you want to rescind that, and I'm fine, you know, whatever you guys want.
No, that's what we wanted.
I think we have to give them something, people need to have something.
Well, one of the biggest, and I understand people, they say, well, we don't communicate enough with the public so they can understand. And I understand for us to give something to them to understand what's going on at the meeting. But like, I can understand, it's kind of torn, and like, I want to give them information, but then if you give them too much, they're not going to come, and then you're not going to get support. And then if you give them so much information that they're confused and they don't know what to do, so this is really hard when everybody
But-
thinks differently.
Very complicated.
It's complicated because
and
we
it
got
will,
bit
like-
last time.
If you say there's no tax increase, nobody won't show up, but you will have fewer people. That's why when we had the second town meeting, and people were asking, well, why aren't there as many people as last time? Because it wasn't an override vote, that was a simple
Yeah.
answer to the question. So once that, people knew that it wasn't coming out of their taxes, it was a different story. Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is whether people understand what's coming out. I mean, if you put out information that people can't process, then it's not of any help.
Right.
Steve, you were a big proponent of talking about your taxes on this. Are you okay not putting anything on there about taxes?
I mean, the motion is gonna say where the money's coming from.
The motion says, transfer from the municipal building stabilization fund. No matter how many times you say that though, someone will ask, is this gonna affect my taxes?
Well, people think if somebody gets a raise, their taxes are going up, so I mean, there's a certain amount of background knowledge people
Right.
have. And they won't have. But I think you wanna give them enough, you give them information that they can't understand, then why you give them information? Because they probably, unless the diagram is explained, I don't think they'll interpret the diagram correctly. I mean, and that's not,
Well, the diagram's gonna say, this is Article 1. Where's my diagram?
Hang on. This is Article 1,
Article 1.
and this is Article 2.
what about it?
Well, on here, we added some wording on here. Lynn expressing the fact that move this that you can't see and put it in the middle. Oh, sorry.
If you can't read this diagram, I mean, what wouldn't people know? The ghost area is gonna be, it's gonna say future renovation. This building area is not in the scope of this project.
Well, I mean, people need to be able to differentiate between Article 1 and Article 2.
Right. So Article 2 shows town office renovation excluding town administrator. And then it's gonna be a line here that says, town administrator area will be abated with new windows only.
I wouldn't even put that on there.
Oh, no,
I
no,
would explain it at a town meeting, I wouldn't explain it on there.
Oh, no, I keep that on there.
no, I would too.
Because, I mean,
Because we're not excluding the town administrator, we're
just-
starting it, we're beginning that section. We don't have the money, the
To
funds
finish it.
to finish it. So it's not excluding that part
I
of
would just
it.
explain it at a town meeting, I wouldn't put it on that. I mean, you're putting a pretty abstract document there. People are gonna look at it, they need to spend time like actually thinking about it, analyzing it, which, is worse than, whatever the heck.
So
it is
again,
about it.
both these documents going out before a town meeting will be clear to some people and not to other people, and they're
Right.
gonna generate questions. That's the whole point of what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So, but having them handed out at town meeting,
But that would make more
people
sense. 'cause
aren't
then-
there.
Then you could explain it at town meeting. I mean, I'm talking about ahead of time. I would give that at a town meeting, because then you can sit there and can actually look at it, explain it, what the
Right,
diagram means. But
right.
if you put that on Facebook, it's gonna be like,
but that's how they felt about this too.
oh, really?
It'd be all
Yep.
criticism, where I'm concerned. It's like, you're opening yourself up for,
Believe me, I know about being open.
Yeah. The thing is we want so badly to communicate, but instead of, as you know, it doesn't have to be NISA, it's just people in general behind what do you call the computer keyboard people, just
Yep.
slam no matter what you put on. No matter how well or how everything was thought out for this project and how much money we saved as much as we could, it really won't matter, they will bash it.
people are gonna bash South Hadley.
Exactly.
I go on the South Hadley site, they say the same things about South Hadley as they say about
Exactly.
Granby.
The Ultratop.
I mean, it's like interchangeable. You
Well,
just change the
exactly,
forms.
and so that's why I said it really doesn't, at this point, no matter what we
But,
put
I
out.
mean, I would, yeah, I don't know. I didn't see anything really wrong with the stuff you guys came up with last night, to be honest with you. People are gonna have their opinions for sure, but the other thing is like, just from having done the Facebook thing so long, you have a certain number of people who are gonna be obnoxious
Yeah.
and say stuff. The vast majority of people don't comment,
Yeah,
and they're the people that you really care about the most. Cause I would, you get like 4 or 5 people that are just saying really negative things, and
Right.
you look up at the comments and you got all these likes, and you got all these people, the people who don't comment are by far the most, they're probably the most important people, but they're also outnumber the people who comment.
okay.
So,
Well,
first motion to, we're talking about supplementing.
Yep.
The town vote should, to transfer from the municipal building stabilization fund, the sum of $1,008,000 for the purpose of completing the West Street building renovation project as originally proposed. And then the motion two, to complete the same verbiage, instead of supplementing, to complete the West Street building renovation project without,
you guys can talk, I'm gonna
Yeah,
take
yeah.
this.
without the town administrator's office.
So you're saying just change some of the verbiage?
That's what I was trying to get at.
Instead of supplement, it's not supplement, it is supplementing.
The
but
supplement, yeah, the
It doesn't-
supplement thing was, that kinda came up last. I don't know, somebody was saying, well, you wanna say contingency, cause contingency means 15%, which I don't think anybody except in the trades knows.
To complete it as originally, and if they
Yeah.
say, well, you said we had enough, then we can get into, that's when you get into the detail and say, we did if the project had
3,
had
yeah.
broken ground 3
Yeah.
years ago. But between the process and the escalation of inflation and so on and so forth, this is where we're at today.
Yeah, I mean, I think, how much are building costs going up per month? I mean, it's
30,000, they said, right? That every month
Yeah.
we
On
wait.
Yeah.
this project, it's
Yeah.
about 30,000.
30,000 and
Because
everything.
when we were in May, I'd asked Neil, how much the Shutesbury library was gonna be per square foot, and the estimate was about 1,200, and it finished at, I think the newspaper said 1465 a square foot.
Yeah,
So,
So to talk to these articles, it's that we're locked in right now as long as we commit within the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
right,
The bleeding stops.
Yep.
We've got enough to cover our contingency and finish it as originally proposed.
and the overages of that one bit.
They need to do it so we can finish the project, period.
I mean, there was an alternative in May, and, even though it costs more money now, there's no alternative. I mean, we don't have an alternative.
So the way I'd like to see it framed is that the project's gonna happen. Do we want it to happen completely and take care of all our problems? That's,
But without the 788,000, it's not gonna happen, right?
Well, correct, without that one,
I get it, but it needs to be framed that we have to have this to finish the project.
Yes, yeah,
There's
and
no, we don't wanna go, you've already approved this much of it.
yeah,
And because of escalation costs, this
because
is
I mean,
where-
we could be putting people in trailers. That's how bad it could be. We could be putting offices in the trailer.
and at the same time, that's not cost effective in long
It's not
term.
cost effective, and it's like, that's really
And-
Mayberry RFD.
Well, and that's just it, people, and they're worried about cost effectiveness, that doing it that way is worse than just trying to give us the bit we need to complete
and
the
then
project that's already in progress and hardcore number.
And with that number, with the yes vote, we're locked and loaded.
Yeah,
We're locked in with our contracts right
and our
now.
bids,
On
yeah.
our- With our bids, all we have to do is sign the papers. We need this vote tonight to finish the project.
Yep.
Kicking the can down the road, we're gonna be asking for even more, no matter what,
You kick the can down the road, we're gonna be living in the can down the road.
Yeah.
so.
I do
It
like
will
the
be
change of
rusty.
verbiage.
Yeah.
I do like the change of verbiage. It made, to me, it's just more clear than some of the, using a word here and there that,
Yep.
because when you're saying it, something's not kicking in right for me to feel like it's a same plain layman's term
Yeah.
for people to understand. But layman's term, keep it simple, I think is better. Using the same thing, but just more layman's term.
Yeah, it was me. I kept pushing the supplemental because I heard that and I didn't really. But as I think about it, I'm like, nobody. If you're not in construction, you don't have 15% contingency. That doesn't mean anything if you're not in construction or if you're not in projects. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Nobody really cares.
Yeah.
All they wanna know is,
How much is it going to cost and where it's
and
going.
that's what it's gonna take to complete it.
Yep.
From our original. And then this is if we start backing down.
Yeah.
Do you wanna not do the TA's office for 200,000 or 250,000?
Which, and that's the other thing too, is you express as the fact that it will be abated, and it's being prepared for future use, because you don't want to give us the 220,000.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna sell it on the floor.
I mean, personally, I think we should do the town administrator's office. Get everybody there.
Oh,
solve the problem. Otherwise,
But it's true.
it's like here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, someday we're gonna move, and look at some days like 15 years later.
That's
And
why
that's what
I
happens.
hate doing those types of, this should have been addressed then,
Yeah.
instead of this.
Yep.
Just like the police station should have been done instead of that building they operated out of.
The old dinosaur.
Yeah, they were dinosaurs, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't have a problem putting out somewhat to what the communications did, I just didn't want more layman's term.
Right. And completing, then they're hearing that it's gonna be done. You know what I mean? It's more.
You know what, we put a committee together, let's start and use it and see how it works. If it doesn't work, then abandon it, but,
That was my goal with the whole thing, was for them to be
so let's give them.
figured out.
So they're not trying to come up with the subsidies, they're trying to get it out there
Right.
for us.
Correct.
So let's give them what they need and. let
Correct.
them-
Yeah.
So basically what we already voted on, sorry, because Lynn just stepped out, I'm just trying to rehab here. So one of the things we basically voted on is the committee to come together and create what we want to put out, is basically just change a little bit what the communications wrote to make it layman's term. So we're still gonna send them what we want, but with the aid from the communications committee, and put it all out. The question, are we putting it all out with this, or just verbiage?
I think the diagram would be useful at town meeting. I wouldn't put it out ahead of time though. People are gonna struggle to read it.
Okay.
I would put this up the way I amended it. And come to town meeting to talk it out.
Yeah.
That's what it's for, otherwise we do a ballot, right? If it was that clean, and you didn't have to answer questions, and you didn't have to decipher anybody's opinion of what
Right.
was going on, then put it on a ballot. That's not what the town floor is for.
Tell my dad down when we go for dessert if we're gonna. He doesn't even like the electronic voting. Thing,
Yeah.
Which I don't either.
I don't either.
Alright, so we came up with what we wanted to put out, and we'll just rewrite it, revamp it, and give it to the communications committee. Alright, cool.
And everybody hears the same thing, not somebody, because what happens when you put too much information out, somebody grabs onto it, gives their interpretation,
Yeah, it's the
and then
interpretation.
somebody else grabs onto that as being gospel.
That
Yeah,
happened last May. I had to
Yeah.
take down a post, not because anybody meant, it
And
didn't
no.
even mean any harm, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
completely wrong. And it's like, I can't leave this up because people will
you're right.
get confused.
I'm not saying anybody's doing it to be
Oh, some people
deliberately.
do.
Well, yeah,
just-
to be
but
malicious,
But
or- yeah.
it's no different than that whole thing, if you tell a secret, by the time it comes all the way around the
Yeah.
room, it's.
The telephone, yeah.
And that's what happens with this stuff, so.
Right. But I agree, I just think layman's term, and keep it simple, and give them the information, and then come to town meeting. So,
All right, meeting adjourned.
meeting adjourned, we're done.
Did you? Okay, I was gonna say, we have another meeting. You guys,